Why, hello and good afternoon. How is everybody today? I didn't check my drink up. 1 second. But how is everyone today? We are back for another MOC set. This time, Indiana Jones is who we'll be building for. Just take out my example. Okay. Got that. So, this set came out a while ago. Also, how are you guys doing? I almost completely forgot. I always do that. But yeah, this is a car from the third Indiana Jones movie that they used to try and escape a plane that the Germans were using, which is going to be what we're building today. And I'm quite excited to do it. Now, if you look right here, the sign fell off. It said Berlin on it. But yeah, this is a pilot. I'm sure I will find that at some point. It's currently hiding here somewhere. That's fun. But anyways, that's what we're building today. They came out with this set a while ago, I think for one of the anniversaries. And I didn't like the look of it. And apparently people online didn't like the look of it either. This set comes courtesy of MOC Maker over on Rebrickable. This will be the final of our MOC sets. So I was a bit surprised to hear this is not a German plane. This is a Swiss plane called a Pilatus P-2 Pied Piper. I don't know its actual name. I am not Swiss. Yes. But something else I was also surprised to hear about was I looked it up because curiosity gets the better of me sometimes. If you wanted to own an actual plane like this yourself, it would only cost $17,000. Now that sounded unfathomable to me, but I guess it wasn't like a Mustang or something like that, so I guess they sold it cheaper. But that's neither here nor there. Throw the bag over there. That didn't work. This one's name, the person that made this one's name is easy. It's just MOC Maker. We will, at the end of this stream, have to do some modifications. Or see if I can do some modifications. Because the cockpit on this particular aircraft. This aircraft designed for looks. And that is it. It's not designed for the pilot to sit in the front seat. It's something that I intend fixing. Let's get started, shall we? We've only just started to readjust how I'm sitting. I'm very strange. I like to sit on my feet for whatever reason. But MOC month has been fun. I'm already thinking of plans for the next one. Probably won't be anytime soon. Maybe as a big goal in the future. Maybe I could do like a make it yourself, because I've seen they have a make it yourself with the tank from that movie too. Could be fun. More on that later. We got other regular sets to build, so. Now, we do have some pieces in here that already have the stickers on them. Because this is a set that I have built on camera before. I just didn't save the... Does not give you specifics. It's supposed to go 1 or 2 over. I guess we'll find out later when things don't fit. I do have regular Lego sets that I'm going back to next week. I may or may not have a problem with Legos. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Yeah, I guess I did set it up right. Yay! I'm not going to count this one out. I'm just going to put it in and see if it fits. Perfect. So it needs a lot of long pieces. But yeah, as for how much this thing costs, I'm a bit surprised. For whatever reason, I thought a World War II era plane would be pretty expensive. Although, this one was considered a training aircraft, from my understanding. So, mayhaps a little smaller. Music seems very loud for whatever reason. If it is loud, let me know. Yeah, the thumps are very loud. Need that for minutes. No. Although I will say, I think I have a modification to it already. I didn't have the piece that it needed because it asked for a frying pan on the bottom. So I decided this would work better. Yeah, for whatever reason, the person that I bought from didn't send me the frying pan. So I had to improvise because I didn't feel like asking them to send me one. I don't know if it was their goof up or transition between Rebrickable and Bricklink. I didn't pay for it. I looked through the receipt. I also didn't feel like ordering another. So. Take the wheels out. Set them over there. I know it is in it. I've seen it. I'm gonna look out for a couple of different things. Okay, I'm just gonna look out for one. Oh, I am wondering if I should have brought my extras down. Because then I could try and build that. Because I have to, the cockpit doesn't allow for the person to sit in it very well. So I gotta do it myself. Which is unfortunate. So from what I remember, the description of this one says that the wings will rip off, like in the original, because the guy tries to follow them into a cave, and that doesn't work. Not a cave, a tunnel. We now have a single bar of Lego pieces. Where is my controller? Mouse. I gotta make sure I don't double click. You know, in hindsight, I wonder if I should have had. Well, I guess I have the instructions upstairs. I could go grab them, but. I had a single idea on how I can make the cockpit work, but then I couldn't find the piece, so. Hmm. Okay, so I thought my light was flashing, and I accidentally looked at it. Now I'm blinded temporarily. That's fun. I guess that's the one problem with throwing all of my pieces into one box. It makes it impossible to find the small one. Unfortunately, since I have to count them all out to make sure I have everything, I can't really keep them all separated. Perfect. The thing I'm realizing is this is going to be a very long plane. I almost couldn't see where it went. That's what that looks right. Yes. Try and hunt down that Berlin sticker in a little bit. Move my drink closer so I don't have to reach. Too big. No, I hadn't thought about it until just now. I was thinking about what game I was going to play after Legacy of Rest. I wonder, would that Indiana Jones video game be fun? I haven't heard anything about it, though. That is the only big block that I have that is that size. I think they were a little bit more careful about sending me the colored pieces that I needed, so that I don't think there will be too much confusion. Although I will say, I am very easily confused sometimes. Not much to look at right now. It's just kind of looks like a stick. I have a fancy remote control. Seafoam or Statue of Liberty color. favor. Let me just take out these very large flat pieces because they keep getting in my way. Should make things easier to find, maybe. No. I know it is in here somewhere. There was only one piece that I missed. I don't know why I did that. That didn't help. Try moving the bigger stuff out of the way again. Okay. Now we play the guessing game of, did I actually see that piece, or did I imagine it? Both of which are equally possible. I guess a backup. What do I do as a backup? I have not thought that far ahead. Okay, got a problem. I can't find it. Unless I confused it for something else. Did I just say maybe it was something else and I just moved forward without it? I might have. Apparently my ability to sort through things sucks. Anyways. So then I don't lose these. I think we only need to put them in. We got those. I'm pretty sure it's not in that bag. Actually, one second. Hold that thought. So yes, the problem ended up being I just didn't grab it for me. There she is right there. Oh, there it is. Put that over there in case I need it again. We found our Berlin sign, though. Berlin. That way, apparently. Actually, it'd be that way from where I am currently. Maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at my cardinal directions in a while. I'm glad I kept my extras downstairs. That would have sucked if I had to run upstairs and grab them. Know that. I forgot to check something. Anyways. That was easy to find. Funny how that works. Can't seem to find anything until the moment I'm looking for something else. No, a lot of construction in this spot. Give me the sea foam. know why, but I really like that color. This one right here. Seafoam's the best color I could say to describe it. Best descriptor I've gotten. Must be the tail fluke. I don't think that's what it's actually called. Horizontal stabilizer, maybe. Seafoam by 4. I remember the thing about this one is it has a very prominent nose of the plane. I don't know if that's because it has a big engine or not. My best guess. Yeah, so that's what today is going to be mostly. Not only building this MOC set, but also trying to redesign it just a little. One redesign we already have planned out. Different wheels. Oh. Oops. Wrong one. Looks like we have constructed a chair. Or at least something that vaguely looks like one. We do have extra pieces from the original plane that we might be able to use as well. Probably putting the cart before them. One idea that I had is maybe I can lower this spot by more, and maybe it'll fit better. We'll see. Looks like we might be building the engine housing. Nice, we got internal combustion now. Some altimeters. Possibly fuel gauges. Yeah, one gauge ready. I don't have a gauge in here. Pretty sure it ain't in there. Aha! Got it. And I was right. It was upside down. We have gauges, dials, and other things. Dials and gauges inside the cockpit for when things go to shit. You certainly hope that doesn't happen while you're flying. Yeah, I need two of those. Yeah, in my mind, I'm engineering a couple different ideas that might work. I'll let you know how those go. Control stick. One thing I was wondering if I could do. I don't know what I'm gonna like if it's too wide. I'm wondering if I could just add stuff here, and just bulk it out just a little bit, and make it just barely wide enough. I really need to learn myself how not to sit like a pretzel. I was trying to sit that way on a kitchen seat, but it doesn't work out so well. I feel like this plane is more engine than anything else. I think that is a light gray. Yeah, that is a light gray piece. Oh, I guess there's a plane from that first movie too. That's I don't think they have a appropriate set for. Maybe I'll look into that one. Or who knows? Maybe if it's in the future at some time, maybe I'll have a vote for it. That won't be for a while. Just to make sure it fits there so I don't have to calculate it. I feel like it would almost be simple to have like extra flat pieces, just add them and see how it goes. I think this will be an easy modification, actually. Let's see. Why that didn't want to go in there. Good news is the only part that's really extra sized is here. Along the, just where the cockpit is itself. So I don't have to, like, disassemble half the plane just trying to get it to work. It's one side of the cockpit. I'm assuming the next spot is going to be working on the other side. Never mind. The other side, I mean, the first part is going to be working over here. Actually, now that I think about it, it might throw it off. Because one thing I have not taken into account is this attaches. So if I add something to it, unless it falls underneath it, I might not be able to do that modification. We will see. But that is the nature of these MOC sets, though. They are custom built, so customizing it yourself is in the nature of building the set. If I wanted to, I could change all of the gray for flaming red if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that, but it is an option. I know it's hiding in here somewhere. I was correct. Although what I will say is if I modify, I'll probably have to modify the whole side of it to make it line up well. To actually give a aerodynamic look. Which is, funny I'm mentioning aerodynamics when what I'm building is bricks, basically. They're probably about as aerodynamic as a potato. Once I get the cockpit completed, I'm going to try and put him in it. See if it works. Well, to see if he'll sit. Time to do some experimentation. I am going, like I mentioned, while I am going to test to see if the pipe will sit in here, I am going to wait until later to actually do modifications. Figure I'll display the completed work and then I'll do my own work. It'll also give me the chance to look at how the wings attach to this aircraft. Okay. As far as I can tell, the cockpit is done. We got our little guy here. Okay, he's sit. Now I guess the only problem would be the canopy itself. So it isn't the bottom that's the problem. It is definitely the top. I'll be honest with you. I was kind of hoping that it would be this problem because as I was looking at it, it was all like, oh, that should be an easy fix. Nope, it's not that one. It's the canopy. Like mentioned before, MOC. Okay. Made by MOC Maker on Rebrickable. Find him if you want awesome design thing for this plane. Kind of weird color, but I'm not too bothered by it. I think they may have given me the wrong color, but that's fine. The thing is kind of a mixed bag of colors anyways, so I'm not too bothered by that. Find it because it was lodged in another piece. Thing that we got to remember about this is some of these have stickers on them, some of them do not. Okay, we got 2 that do and 2 that do not. I think I'm going to make it look purposeful. Like I said, I have 2 that have stickers on it, 2 that do not. So I'm going to put the 2 next to the cockpit with it, because that seems like where most of the color is on the plane. Plus, I feel like this one is going to have something covering the front of it, so... And that's what I was mentioning about the front looking very boxy. It is chunky in the front. From my understanding of the P-38, it's pretty heavy in the front too. I ain't helping there by much. Top of that boxy printing. No, I don't need that. Oh, I guess I need 3 of those. That's not what I need at all, actually. What am I missing? Another situation where I forgot to take it out of here. Okay, I'm not seeing it in there. It's yellow here. It's probably that I'm just blind. That might be actually. Yeah, I got some decent stickers, but that isn't what I'm looking for. The solution is probably simple. I'm probably staring right at it and just not seeing it. Oh. Well, that works out perfectly, actually. Oh, there it is. Got that one that has stickers on it as well. Doesn't exactly match, but at least they're all right there. There we go. And that's the front. think we have to build this twice, so. I think we're building like a cost or something. And we built two. Given the fact that they're pointing backwards tells me that these are exhaust vents. Or something like that. Okay, now we run into our first modification. We're using this instead. It calls for using a frying pan. I didn't get that when I ordered this. We're doing things a little bit differently. Mainly because I didn't feel like paying for shipping for just one piece. Plus, also, I think I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it. This was no fault of the person that I ordered from. This was all the site itself. I didn't add it for whatever reason. Yeah, so that is an extra piece. I will just set that in there for now. Extra piece by modification. I was looking ahead to see what part we were on, because if we were on a certain part, then I was going to do my usual break first, but we are not there yet. And while I am on that little break, I'm going to go up and grab that extra stuff that I was telling you guys. So that I may see if I can make some modifications. when the time comes. In the meantime, I think we're building the back of the canopy. Rear end of the cockpit. Trying to put them into this tiny pieces into the corner spots is always difficult. Does not want to cooperate. I guess something else I'm going to have to redesign is this, if this is the thing that's holding the canopy in place. Yeah, so that's the back of the canopy. Oh, tail fluke. Yeah, we'll do that and then I'll do the brake. We haven't moved away from the fuselage, so. I kind of consider the canopy to be different, though, so. always a task of having to hunt down my cursor whenever I'm moving on to another step. No, I knocked over the plane. I'll scoot him over there. And what might that be but a nice-looking tail fluke? Not exactly a tail fluke, but something similar. Surprisingly enough, when you line it up before you plug it in, it actually makes it a little bit easier so it doesn't mess up that much. You gotta reposition it. I wonder if it's because this one wraps around just a little bit. There we go. Tail fin built. Surprisingly enough, fits on pretty well. Can't knock everything else off. Okay, the next part starts the wings. Well, the tail wings. I guess it would be these spots back here. So we will be right back. And when I get back, we will start on that. I'm going to go grab something, and I shall return. Don't go nowhere, and we will continue building shortly. And we are back. Got my extras. But we'll do that later. We have to finish up with some other stuff. Some other things first. That one's slightly different color than the other one. And doesn't matter. Let's get to it. It does not stick in there very well. Huh. Well, that works. So this wasn't sticking in there very well, but then you put this one in, then it locks it in. Tail part number 2. I made a goof. Yeah, let's face it, 1v1 my streams if I didn't. Yeah, looks right. Looks right enough for me. Stir it up. Piece is very well hidden. There it is. Okay, we got our tail Find that kind of cool that it's opposite. Okay, we are beginning work on the canopy. Now, this will be something we are disassembling later. To see if we can't make it pilot friendly. Whether or not that works out, I don't know. To be honest, I don't exactly know how I'm going to redesign it. Not exactly the best when it comes to free thinking ingenuity, but I am certainly willing to give it a try. Otherwise, the pilot just has to sit by the sign. So far. Not really anything to lock the two piece sides to each other, though. Now that locks it together. It is... The clear makes it to where you can barely see it on camera. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and redesign it with the pieces that we have. If that works, it will be good. If not, I don't know. I apologize if a lot of this part of the build is done very close to the table. Trying to avoid that. There. So yeah, I do have some ideas already. A little early, but they work or not, I have no idea. It's something I feel would add a lot of stability to this, and I don't know why they didn't do it, is I think they have this as a solid piece. Now, unfortunately, I don't have that piece as a solid piece, but I feel like that would be an easy fix. What do I know? Very damn stupid. I got a few ideas. We'll see if they work. So one such alternate plan that I have cooking in my head, I'll show you guys in 1 second. All right, so you look at it like this. Flip it over, you got these spots here that are kind of like, kind of hard. They're in the way currently. I was thinking moving these up here, moving these down here and pointing them up. That way, when we go, because later on we're going to put some angles. If we put the angles there, maybe that would give us the space we're looking for. I don't know if it will. There's only going to be one way to find out. But I'm willing to give it a try. Before I proceed, I will have to see if we have more angled pieces. The other thing is, we really only need... We'll go right there. We would really only need extra space for the spot where his head's going to go. If with his goggles on, he does fit in it. So if we can find a way to make that work. Might commit a cardinal sin that I don't like doing and weakening its structural integrity, but if it's not a piece that's moving around too much, may not be a problem. What I'd like to have is more pieces like this one on the back here, because I feel like that would help. But I don't think I do. I have more pieces like this one, slightly more angled, but it'd probably work. At the very least, it would work as a test. Does make it more stable. Put him in here. And then we'll put the canopy on and see if he fits. I'm pretty sure he will not, but... What's interesting to me is when you're dealing with these... what would they be called? These earpieces. They make a weirder sound when you go to attach them. Like they provide more friction, I guess. Don't know if that's true or not, but that's just the observation I came to. That all assembled. Whoa. And there we have the cockpit. Or at least canopy to the cockpit. Okay, let's see. No. And ironically enough, it hits right. Spot is hitting right where his head would be. Right there. And even if I. That wouldn't work there. Like I said, we'll have to do some modifications to it, but that's what it looks like all together. Ironically enough, a piece that I built for a piece I was using for my Cobase set the other at the beginning of last month probably would have worked perfectly because it didn't have much substance to it. I think it was like a piece like that. But we'll get something working. Necessity is the mother of adventure. That one plan that I had might work. Would require some disassembly, but then he would sit lower in the cockpit. We got a couple different plans. We'll try them out one by one and see if they work. Then we need one nose cone. Nah. This is a big propeller. Turboprop. One thing I will say is I am happy that I don't have to redesign the side of the plane. I'm hoping that the engineer of this one, the creator, which is MOC Builds, once I find out where my mouse went, MOC Maker over on the frickin' Rebrickable. This set was one of the one that kind of inspired this whole build, by the way, so... Well, inspired this whole idea that I had, so, in case you're wondering. I guess I need 2 of those. Oops. I was gonna say the wings on this plane seem somewhat small, but then I remember, in theory, jets shouldn't be able to fly. Only reason they're able to fly is because of how much thrust they put out. Some of your bigger planes can glide, usually jets can't. I'm just sitting there. Fun. Wasn't expecting it to be hanging off nothing. We have our control surfaces. Find it interesting. My mic won't pick up on me growling, but it'll pick up on me moving shit around. Well, that's incredibly helpful. Okay, never mind. I didn't say it didn't tell you which one is which, but then I'm like, oh, that one goes there. Ah, I need 2. He's trying to get away from me. Yeah, I want that curb edge facing out. I want something like that. Yep, that's one wing, all right. Enough for the other part of the plane. Or I guess the other wing. Well, that was interesting. Oops. It decided it didn't want to go in. Instead, it decided it wanted to shoot across the table. Check. Oh, that might be a gun port. I didn't even realize that. So a lot of planes, some of them will have guns that shoot through the propellers. Like down like that. And they have a mechanism to stop them from shooting the propeller. You avoid that problem if you have the bullets in the wing. I mean, if you have the gun ports in the wings instead. Negates the problem.
Smiths has everything to get back to it. Keep busy running smoothly with proven quality at a
What? You didn't hear anything. No, sir, and Bob. I need something that gives me a warning when the time's about ready to run out. Okay. I don't imagine it'd be facing towards the fuselage. I'm going to point it down. Okay, never mind. Does face the plane. Okay, we're beginning construction on a landing gear. I hope this one doesn't have the same problem the last one did. Yeah, the problem with the last one was it decided it wanted to keep moving. This one doesn't deal with tubes, so it may not have as big a problem. For whatever reason. I knew it was going to do that. Okay, so there's that. And then... Stay, dang you! I guess you gotta make sure that you hold it when you're closing it. Because I have it sitting flat on the table right now, I am going to have the wings folded in. Face up like that. I like that I asked a question and the music answered me. Yes. As far as I can tell, that'd be the only way. Is it supposed to have such a high angle? As far as I could tell, yes. I mean, that's the only way that really makes sense, I guess. Yeah, when it's sitting on its belly, it seems like it lines up a little bit better. Okay, so he's off screen now. And back to it. Might line out a little bit. Actually, let me... Yeah, that's right. Might be the reason that it looks slightly weird is because it's... Now all the weight's kind of leaning to that side, so... Where did my... Where'd my cursor go? Oh, shit. Don't lose that. Oh, I am wondering if maybe I should have tried to redesign it while the wings were off, but then I realized it's not going to take much to get the canopy off, so... I guess it probably does help to look at it from a full perspective. Didn't need that. Yeah, all right. For whatever reason, it seems like these sets are a little looser than the other side. I guess it worked itself out in the wash, maybe. The desert sucks. There's dust everywhere. Struck down the line. Okay. I almost forgot one. Oops. Oh, I grabbed too many. Throw it back. Guess I ended up needing it for the next step, so. Hey, Ostro, how are you today? Hopefully having a good afternoon. Or evening, wherever you are in the world. We are reconstructing a plane from Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. Let me finish this step here, and I will show what we've built so far. It is the Pilatus P-2. I hope that I said it right. Which, I was surprised to find out, isn't a German plane. It is a Swiss plane. I'm doing well. Yeah, so the Pilatus P-2 is a training plane from Switzerland that the Germans commandeered during World War II. Surprisingly enough, what I was more interested to find out is, unlike a lot of other World War II planes, this one's only about $17,000 to buy in real life. The more you know. Not that I'd ever buy it, because a little secret factoid of mine, I am not the biggest fan of heights. Alright, so this is what we got so far. we haven't finished the other wing yet. We are going to be doing some redesigns because the guy does not fit in the cockpit very well. Try and make it to where he can sit in there without having to do too much. Also, we have Dr. Jones and his father. Don't know why the light came out so easily. In the vehicle they try to escape in. Also have a little sign for Berlin, not sure why. And the guy that we're going to be trying to get into the cockpit later, this is our little guy. Little pilot. The planes, I mean, the wings do tear off, kind of like when it was flying through the tunnel, and he wasn't paying attention, and flipped his wing, and then exploded. That's what we're doing today. We're doing that today because I'll be otherwise occupied and unable to stream tomorrow. Also, this is the last of MOC month. Make it yourself. It was fun, and I have every intention of doing it again. Probably spin this around. Get it set up for when we go to attach it. Being honest, the canopy really isn't all that attached already. So I think doing some modifications to it ain't gonna hurt it. But yeah, I felt the need to redesign this one to the instructions that I found online. MOC Maker on Brebrickable, if you want to go check him out yourself. But I felt the need to redesign it because I don't exactly like the design of this one in regular. Where is my mouse? Also, random little factoid. They had a couple different Legos coming out for Indiana Jones. One of which was going to be Temple of Doom. But they ultimately pulled the plug on it because apparently they thought that that wasn't exactly the best representation of individuals. Not going to say whether that's good or not, but what I will say is if they still wanted to do a representation of something from that movie and have it not be controversial, what they should have done is do a recreation of the raft they had that they used to get out of the plane. Lego, if you're listening, which you're probably not, but if you are. Indiana Jones, escape plane in rubber raft. You could even have the plane if you want another set. I mean, another part of the set. check something real quick. Okay. Landing gear. Actually, I think that will be it for the tub. Although I might end up needing it later. Doing some redesigns. Let's see if this landing gear, these sets of landing gears work out better than the one that was on our flying boxcar. Folds up nicer. There. Like I said, this is a Swiss plane. Okay, crucial test. Will the landing gear support the weight? One thing I will say is kind of hard to open. Oh, that one looks nice. Then it just scoots away. Okay, now on to our next little problem. So we take this, pop that off. We don't have any space for our little guy. That is a problem. A problem I intend to fix. I'm going to try and fix this in two parts. Part one, I'm going to try and make more room on the bottom. Part two, I'm going to try and make more room here. Whether or not this works or not, I have no idea. But I am willing to give it the old college try. Never went to college, but... if I had, I probably would have been an experimenter. Okay, let us tear off the wings. If I could get that part out right there. Try and tear it off in one piece so that I don't have to maneuver it around as much. Okay, can I get this out? I'm going to be, in general, not cooperative. I don't really have a good way to access it. Might end up having to rip this almost entirely in half. That's not gonna work. Like I said, I want to try and keep the pieces intact as much as possible. Hopefully that gives me access. I don't think it does. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Dang, if I could just get that one. Maybe tweezers? Perfect. Hey, Adric, how you doing? We are redesigning something so that hopefully our little pilot will sit in this cockpit easier. Unfortunately, I will have to show you the design in a moment. Because I have effectively taken this thing halfway apart, so... Or at least the cockpit area. Okay. I'll go ahead and show you what we did. Oh no! Oops. The landing gear does not stick on very well. Okay. So this is the P-2. This is the plane that Indiana Jones and his father escaped in The Last Crusade. The original design I didn't like too well, so I went looking online and found a design on Rebrickable made by the ever-talented... Where's my cursor? MOC maker. Link will be in the description later, but that's the design so far. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool. The only problem is that when they designed this, they didn't give it enough room for the little guy to sit in. So, I have to take matters into my own hands and do it myself. think that might just barely be enough. The only thing is, now we have to redesign the canopy. We at least need to redesign this second part right here. This first part might be okay. The only problem is, if you take it apart, these two pieces are separate. So I'm thinking a complete redesign to some extent. I don't know if this is going to work, but there's only one way to find out. Disassemble everything and hope for the best. And I might need to redesign that first part anyways, just to make everything match. What I need is more pieces like these. Whether or not I will find them is an entirely different question, but I am willing to look. I can use this one. Now, we got that, and we've got our mountain of extras. Loud noise incoming. I apologize if you have a mic. I mean, if you had a headset on. I'm looking for something specific, but I don't think I'm gonna find it. Yeah, that wouldn't fit there. I was gonna say maybe I could just move these to that spot, but I don't have that. I need it here because space, how it works. Am I using that piece elsewhere? The angled pieces. Maybe I could use it there? Let me look back through the instructions right quick. Where is my cursor? Lose track of that like nobody's business. Would it cause problems if I used that elsewhere? No, the problem is they're gray. Here's my pry tool. There it is. Oh yeah, it would. Oh, but maybe not. Let's see. Come on, unwedge. Up chip. Lost the landing gear again. Lost both of them. I'm gonna close them up. That might end up being another modification I make. Add a little bit more to this to keep the landing gear from falling off. that sits a lot better. If I can ply it up. So we got this one. Up there. Given it's covered, I really don't need it to be exactly the same color. Ultimately, I'll take what I can get. I'll set that aside for now. All right, let's see. I pop this off. Maybe not. I really didn't want to use a bunch of these little small gray pieces, but I've got a lot of them, so I certainly could. Holy shit. Okay, so good news is gray is one of their most common colors, so and it tends to be used as filler as well. So surprisingly enough, that worked out pretty well. I'm sure there's probably a pretty good reason why that is supposed to be all one solid piece, but it didn't say so, so I'm doing what I want. Okay. Yeah, that works out. However, seeing as those are in the corner, that makes a lot more sense. Well, it's not rounded. I will probably have to make some extra modifications later, but I feel like this is a pretty good spot to. Like, I can modify it later. Will say, however, I do have to be careful, otherwise everything falls apart. Before we continue, let me check. It is sitting right on his head. But he does fit in it. Hmm. See what it looks like all the way across. Ah, shit. Oh wait, we don't need that. I said, it is barely sitting on his head, but you can kind of see the gap. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that I could, like, raise this spot by. Because if I raise it, then there's a gap even bigger. Okay, if he doesn't have his helmet on, he fits. And I can't make him any lower because these are the long pieces. Only this helmet wasn't so big. Unfortunately, there isn't a way to make that any thinner. The funny thing is, there is one piece that I think would work. The only problem is I can't find it anywhere. Let me go back through the instructions real quick. I have to go pretty far back, I imagine. Although now that I think about it, probably would have been better if I just went back to the place where I launched it from and looked there. Yeah, that's one of those long ones. Not impossible to modify that, but that's going to be difficult. It would require me to take this thing half apart, though. So I got one of two choices. I can either live with it, or I can take it half apart. Okay, before I even risk that, that is a 16 piece of a launch. And considering it's low, it doesn't have to be. That's 8. If I am going for smaller, I could do that. That's 10. 16. I am at 13 if I do that. I'm not going to take it apart until I'm sure I have the pieces to replace it. Oh, rather conveniently, I have a extra piece that is 16, so I can use that as a measurement tool. You know? We've got enough pieces. Where's my lid go? All right, we're tearing it up. Tearing it halfway apart. Oh. Well, that's the thing. I was thinking about it as all like it's just going to mess with the structural stability, but a lot of the other stuff's holding it together too. When I go to take this up, I have to make sure I don't knock anything off. What came off that side? Okay. Try and keep it in one piece if we can. Well, make sure that is the one that goes there, yeah. Goes pretty far forward. Okay, so we rip that off. Oh, it goes even further than that, actually. Hmm. Come on, let go. What I was doing was incredibly reckless. Don't do it at home. Okay. Let me look at this. Okay, so the spot that we need to leave vacant is right here. And a lot of this is just going to be remembering what was where. I've already made a mistake, actually. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so that could be a problem. problem. Hopefully this works. It seemed pretty solid, but who knows? Maybe that was the thing holding it together. Well, that could be its own problem. I am going to be relying a whole hell of a lot on everything else around it.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an app.
No.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
Stop. Stop. I went too far. Okay. I need something to tell me when that's getting close. My memory seems to be reminding me that it's like that. He gonna be sitting real low in it. I think if I actually had intentions of playing with this as a actual toy, this may not work as a setup. However, since I don't plan on doing that, and it's just going to be a display model kind of a thing, I think this might just... Yeah, it's not moving too much, so... Yeah, here he comes. Ah. Oh, that's perfect. Can actually see inside pretty easily, too. Like I said, I do think he sits a little low, but that's not a big problem. I would say the one issue is I do kind of have the feeling like it is a little unbalanced, but it should work. And that's all the extra stuff we have. Now, I do have to be careful. The cockpit doesn't exactly sit on there very well, although I feel like that's almost a design of the original one that makes that a problem, but... You got a nice firm grip on the landing gears, so you can pop them like so, and... Perfect. And for reference, that's how big the plane is in comparison to the car. Also, the little Berlin sign. Perfect. So we got our sign. I actually found the Berlin sign. We got Indy and his father. And we have their pursuit plane. Brought to you by MOC Maker on Reworkable and my own additions. Just so it fits a little bit better. And it looks nice. That is it for MOC month. Or, I guess, for the last 3 weeks month, because I didn't have enough sets for the entire month. And the Akage took a lot longer to make than I thought it was going to. But anyways, that'll about do it for today. I don't really have anything else to build. So I am going to find someone to raid out into. The link to this person's modifications will be made available not only in the video itself, but also when I go to post the pictures of this later. But it was a real fun set to build. If you guys ever need to, you can refer back to this one if you want to make the modification that I did. By the way, I started tapping my foot and the entire table moved. I think I know who we're going to raid out into today. Let me just check to make sure it works. All right, we'll be raiding out into Ali. I will catch you all later as I bump the frickin' plane. I will not be streaming tomorrow, like I mentioned. I will be back Monday for Monster Hunter, unless Xbox decides to shit the bed again. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I will catch you all later. Shit. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.